So we are the Real Housewives of Real Estate. And we are here today with our good friend Dario from Italy. And we'll go ahead and we're going to do a quick introduction of who we are. And then we're going to go ahead and dive into what is happening in Italy with the COVID virus and how that's affected Dario's real estate business. And then we're just going to hang out and have a little conversation. I'm Kinsey Lee Eggles. I'm with Remax Realty Group in Southwest Florida.
I'm Alexa Caballo Hughes with the Cabal Group of Remax Right Choice in Connecticut.
Hey, everybody. Felicia Beltran with Remax Associates and your Southern Colorado expert.
Excellent.
And I'm Dario Castiglia, Regional Director and owner of Remax of Italy. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so
Dario.
Yeah, and so we met Dario a few years ago at Remax R4 in Las Vegas, and we were just with Dario less than 2 months ago.
Yes.
And the world has definitely changed since we saw you last. And so how are you doing in Italy? And how has this affected your life and your business?
Well, it's been a serious change of my life, I guess for everybody. But here we were the first Western country to get hit by this tsunami, and we really had no kind of warning. I mean, we, as you said, we were in Vegas not long ago, and when I got back, I just had the time to kind of see the evolution of this, and the country got closed down, and we got in lockdown by March 8th. So imagine, it was just a week or something, a little more than when I came back from Las Vegas, and we were thrown into in a different world, in a surreal world, in a world where airports were empty. I landed, and people were wearing masks already. And slowly but surely, our activities dwindled, and they were totally shut down. And we're now enduring our 6th or 7th week. I lost count. Wow. I'm kind of getting used to it, I have to say. I'm almost afraid of getting out of the house now because I don't know what's happening out there. But it's been very busy, I have to say. It's been busier than ever because obviously running a region with over 4,000 agents and everybody, panic going out. The first week was panic for everybody. Second week too, and it was a crescendo of people fearful of their future because we didn't know what was going on. I mean, we could have seen, yes, what was going on in China. And we were trying to understand if we were going to have the same situation, and indeed we have, because we're totally locked down. I mean, our activity as a realtor is completely inhibited. We can't show houses. Well, we can show them on virtual tours. We can show them on videos. But we cannot have people go in a house and see it. We can't even move from our house except for going to the pharmacy or going to a food store or to take the dog out. And thankfully, I have a dog, so I can take him out every once in a while. But it's been a big change for everybody. And I'm lucky. I consider myself lucky because, I have a good situation at home. But a lot of people are not as lucky as I am. There's people also that died quite a bit, as we had quite a number of deaths, and I know in the States also this number is rising. And then there's households that are not, they found themselves, people found themselves by themselves at home, locked up, and so there's a lot of psychological aspects to take care of in this moment, more so than the actual health or biological ones. And we had I've been very busy keeping the morale up of my membership, because their business are closed, their offices are closed, they're home, everybody's at home, and they're trying to keep busy in this period of time by obviously increasing their skills, or sharpening their skills, or attending webinars and training classes online. They're keeping in touch with their clients, but they really can't get them to do much more than maybe we're listing homes. We're listing homes, and we even sold some homes also in this period of time. So, but it's definitely such a big change and a drastic change in so little time that obviously we're slowly adapting to it.
I'm curious to know, Dario, so when you say that you're still listing properties, how does that work with the stay-at-home order? Obviously you're not able to send probably photographers in to get interior pictures. How does that work, like living in the pandemic and doing real estate in Italy, especially because, it was hit so hard?
Well, in every, I say that in every crisis, people get ingenious. They invent things. So our agents, what they're doing is they're asking the owner of the house, since we can't go to their house and they can't allow us in the house, we ask them to run with their smartphone. Everybody has a smartphone. So we ask them to do a video of the house, and we guide them throughout the video. Okay, so we get on the phone with them, we ask them to take the video, and we tell them what to do. Then they send us the material, we edit it, we then overimpose our wording, our some music and stuff like that, and then we make a showing, a video showing. So we're getting through with that. We're getting information online on the house. We're relying obviously on the information that the owner is giving us. But we're still operating that way, and we're able to get listings.
And so
Great.
that being said, Dario, when you've mentioned that a few properties, of course, have closed. Is that a virtual closing? Is that happening at an attorney's office, at a bank? How is that happening?
All right. Well, the closings were stopped for a few weeks, like the actual closing. Okay, but we were able to get offers accepted, and so we didn't actually get the registry. That was closed up, and they just opened it up now. So it was just a couple of weeks that was closed, because then they realized that there was going to be a backlog of homes that needed to close, and it was crazy. People were, they needed to get into a house. They just sold their house, so they're in the middle of this move, and they didn't know what to do, and it is a chain of events, right? So everything is online. We have, we can do offers online. We have certified signing online. I guess you have it too, and so offers can be easily accepted. The only problem is getting it notarized. We have notaries here in Italy, and notaries are not digitalized at all. I mean, they're old style. You have to go to their office. But I'm in that situation myself. I had to close a deal on April 2, and I couldn't because it was all closed. But I'm closing it next week because they reopened the notaries.
So does Italy, are you table funding, or do you close in escrow?
We no, we're okay. We have a different system than you. When you say close in escrow, you mean we close through the notary? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you close, then the funds are distributed, a certain amount of period after the closing. Whereas, here in Colorado, we're table funding state. So when we close, we fund.
Yes, that's how it is. We table fund. Yes,
okay.
Yes. All the monies are distributed on closing.
Got it.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped through, but can you just give us a little bit of insight into your background and how you came to be in real estate?
Well, I used to live in Canada. So I lived in Canada for a number of years in Toronto, and I my parents took me there when I was a young boy. I was about 16, and I went to school there, then got into the real estate world over there. So that's where I started real estate. And I started as I did I was studying in university and I wanted to make some money, and I started selling different things. And then once I got the passion for selling, and I realized I liked selling. I liked selling, and I liked the commissions on selling. Then I realized that I could get bigger commissions on selling homes. I said, well, maybe I should sell homes instead of selling other things. So that's how it actually started. And I was fairly young. I was 23 at the time. It was
Wow.
1983. Yeah, it was quite a while ago. Okay, that gives away my age, obviously. Yes.
That's
Yes,
important,
it's,
though. I mean, when you think about where we are today in real estate and what was happening in the 80s, I mean, that's huge.
Yes, it's a big difference. Yes, and I have to say the big change was also coming to Italy. I mean, from Canada to Italy, it was a big change. In Canada, in Toronto, and obviously in the United States, you guys have MLS systems. You have information that you can get online. At the time, we could get it on a book. We had an MLS book, and but we still had information. Here in Italy and in most of Europe, information is not so readily available, and we're like kind of investigators sometimes, trying to dig informations, asking the nearby store, or the what do you call it, the cafe near there, if they know anybody that is selling homes and so forth. We're not able to get that information online as you get it on MLS. So it's a little more difficult that way. And also cooperation is nearly non-existent here in Italy, at least, except for Remax agents. Obviously, we as Remax we do cooperate. Obviously, among between us we do, and also with the other independent agents.
So now, Dario, so I love how you're able to have the experience in Toronto and then bring that to Italy. Now, what actually brought you to Italy? And can you speak to us a little bit about your journey and how you went from just selling real estate as a 23-year-old kid to now being, we call you Remax Italy. You are Remax Italy. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I have some partners, but yes, they're still my partners from day one. My friend Ralph is in Canada, and he actually may be watching right now. And then I have other few partners, Leslie, Sergio, and so but I'm the only one operational. I'm the only one, operating in the company. And how did I come about? Well, after a few years in Canada, 18 years in Canada, running a real estate business, because I had a brokerage firm. I got to the point where my heart was taking me back home. And to me, my home is, Canada is also my home, but Italy was a little more so. And I just decided that I wanted to go back, and I wanted to go back before it would be too late to go back, because if I would have established a business too far in Canada, then it would have been even harder to eradicate myself from Canada. And I have to say that a little bit had to do with the 1990 recession. You gals were too young to remember that, but in 1990 there was a big recession, and in North America, it started in U.S. and then obviously hit Canada. And those years were years, during the recession, you kind of ponder about your life, about what you're doing and where you want to go and so forth. So I made up my mind that I wanted to go back to Italy, and I had to find a venue, because obviously changing countries is difficult. Changing continents is even more difficult. And even though I was born in Italy and I knew Italian, I had been so used to living in Canada that to me Italy was like a bit of a cultural shock at the beginning. So I thought of different things I could do, and then I remember seeing an ad in the paper about Remax wanting to open in Europe, and I called them up, and that was it. I spoke to, at the time, Mr. P, Frank Polsler, who's a legend in Remax, and he and Walter Schneider owned the rights to Remax Europe, and it was just starting. There was nothing in Europe at the time, and I thought it was a great opportunity, and I found people around me also wanting to invest in the same business. So there I went. I took my family. At the time, I had 2 kids and a wife. My wife Teresa and my 2 young boys, and really young boy. One of them was 5 months old, so imagine that. And I took them all to Italy, and I started. A little without, thinking about the consequences, quite honestly. It was one of those things that you do with a little bit of like a daredevil, But I never look back, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad of what I built over here.
Well, we're glad and we're proud of you as well. And I know I speak for all of the housewives when I say that Italy throws the best R4 party. When it comes to convention, Italy is the place to be. And we're so grateful to have you as our friend.
Was it a good party that one? Oh my God, you know what? I'm so glad. I'm so glad we had a party that way, because, you think about it, okay? And I'm like, I believe in seize the day. You can't say, oh, we'll do it later, right? You got to do it right there and then. So I'm so glad we had an amazing time, because I don't know when we're going to have another party like that. I hope next year. I really do. But yes, absolutely.
Although I got to say, the caterers are always trying to come for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that party was really the last hurrah for all of us.
Oh, it was, eh?
Before we all go back to our lives. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was the world party. I mean, what a way to go down with all of our best Remax besties from all over the world,
Yeah.
No, it was a great place we had. It was an amazing place. I had to say, that suite was unbelievable.
The view is amazing.
Oh my God.
The view was amazing, and the people were amazing. So we had a really good time. Yes.
Yeah, and we
obviously
just had
because of the view.
We just had someone say came in too on the comments, and yes, we have all the party, all the Remax party people on our show today, because we're going to have James Bavell from the Cayman Islands at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we had Kevin from Malta also. So we really have such an amazing network of individuals that really, they do throw the best parties.
Yes.
It definitely gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, James, and me, I mean, yes, we are the party. We're the party people that are for, yes.
Well, you know what it is? Like you said, seize the day. We all work very hard. We take our businesses very seriously, and we just love what we do. We all love to network together. And yes, we like to have a good time. To me, there's no better.
So obviously we have the parties to look forward to next year. I have a question, Dario. So when it comes to, the COVID virus, I mean, going back to that, obviously, Italy was at the forefront of that. Can you tell us, like, where are you at right now? As far as, stay-at-home orders, and are you coming out of it? What does post-COVID look like, do you think, for your country? Just to give us a little bit of insight on that.
Yes. Well, we're still under a lockdown, full lockdown, and we're hoping now. The news is that by May 4th, they may, they will allow us. It looks that way because the curve is flattening, and it's actually, the cases are going down daily. I mean, everybody's stuck on on the newscast every day, listening to the latest bulletin. I guess you probably do the same there, but it seems that our attention is on those numbers coming down slowly every day. So our activity right now is all online, obviously, because we can't move from home. And as I say, but I'm working more than ever. I mean, I've been working 14, 15 hours a day. So the days are going fairly fast. And because we're changing our business, we're adapting our business to the new normal. And we don't expect to go back to what it was a month or 2 months ago. It's not going to be the same ever, perhaps, but certainly not until there is a vaccine that will, for sure, get rid of this virus. So we have to be prepared to live a new normal. It'll mean wearing masks. It'll mean social distancing. It'll mean avoiding contact with people. So, we're obviously investing a lot in what all the online tools that perhaps we had before, but we weren't using as much. So now everything is online, and even after the lockdown. After May 4th, we'll still have to deal with fears from people. People will not want too many visitors to their home. They will want only very qualified buyers, and so we need to do qualifying on video. Maybe interviewing people right on video and qualifying them first on video, then show them the homes on video again with video tours. And, I picked up several things also from what's going on in North America and Canada. I was just reading something about this agent in British Columbia who sold a property basically online. And, I found this very interesting, that they're not just showing on video the best features of the house, but the worst features of the house. So the things that need to be fixed with the house. And I think that's very important, because you need to build a rapport of trust with your clients, and you have to show them exactly the things as he would be seeing. I mean, if you go inside a house and buy it, sure, you look at the nice features, and obviously that's why you're buying it, but you also look at the things that are going wrong with the house. So you wanna look under the carpet. You wanna see behind the piece of furniture if there's a crack in the wall, or you wanna see what's wrong with the house. Not because you're not gonna buy it, but just because you have to figure out how much it's gonna cost you to perhaps fix it. So I think that this is the way we're gonna work in the next few months. And I have to say that the positive thing out of this is that we're becoming more productive. I'm doing all my meetings online now, and if I had asked some people to meet me online only a month and a half ago, they would have probably refused it, or would have said, "Why don't you want to come and see me? What's wrong with you?" But now this has been acceptable. We have no alternative right now. And by the time we are through this, we'll be so used to this, and we'll realize the potential of this, the potential saving time and money that we have, and we'll never let it go. I will never let it go. Think of this. In the last 3 weeks, we have over 400 offices in Italy, okay? I have traveled throughout Italy in this past 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, okay, online via Zoom, okay, and I visited about 70, 80 offices. I enter into their homes. I've had meetings with 40, 50, 100 agents, okay, on Zoom, and we had a great conversation. It was, you could see they could see me, I could see them. There's empathy through this video. We can really transfer a lot. And I realized that I can do my job perhaps from my boat. I found a good way.
I love it. I love
Dario
that.
has a boat.
But it's so true, though. It's all about the opportunity, finding the silver lining. And speaking of opportunity, I have to ask, I've heard in Italy you could buy a property for €1. Is this fact or fiction?
I don't know. I mean, I read that article too.
Right? I was like,
About
I need to ask Dario this.
yeah. Sure, it was like in some lost place up on a hill in the middle of nowhere, where we have this problem in some of the southern regions. There's very remote places where there were old towns, and very very old and small towns, and some of the mayors have tried to bring back people, because people have fled to the cities, and there's abandoned homes, so they would even give them away for like at an auction for €1, just to have people go in, fix them up, and but they're really pretty rustic, and you would have to invest money in it, and then you're in the middle of nowhere. So it's like saying, can you get a house in the middle of the
The country.
I don't know. Yeah, well, you're from Arizona or from Colorado, and right in the middle of the country, somewhere in the desert,
Yeah.
So sure, €1, but then go live there, So it's a bit of a mystifying truth there, not really the truth. So don't come and ask me for homes for €1, because we don't have them.
I'll double my budget, €2. Let's go.
Oh, you know what? I will go in on that home with you, Alexa. So we're up to €4 now.
I'm gonna bring a camera crew to record the journey of the €2 house.
let me tell you one nice thing. Those no, price is a little higher. I just wanted to tell you something about these Zoom calls that we're doing. Okay, I guess you're doing it over there too. Are you doing Zoom parties?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Are you doing Zoom birthdays?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Surprise birthday.
Yes,
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
I've done a surprise birthday for my daughter. She's 15 and she lives in Madrid. Okay. And I organized it with some of her relatives, my relatives from her side, my side, and her friends. And we did a surprise party just on Zoom. And it was amazing. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know about you ladies, but one of the trends that I've seen in my state is the parades. Like people will, like graduation parades where people just drive by and wave and, show love to, whoever's birthday it is or graduation. That's becoming increasingly popular.
Yeah, we've had several of those in my city as well. But the Zoom happy hours, we have a Zoom happy hour every Friday night, and it's a bunch of RE/MAX associates from all over the country. And last Friday, Adam Contos popped in to our happy hour, wearing an Afro wig. Nice. It was hysterical. It was great to have him.
Classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow evening around 6 p.m. I can say it because it's we're gonna have our we organize the piazza, Zoom piazza. It's like a piazza. It's like 600, 700, 800, 900, up to 1,000 people gather. Wow. Like RE/MAX Italian agents and brokers. And tomorrow we're gonna have Dave Linegar come and say hello.
Wow.
Well, can you please send your housewives a link to that invitation? We would love to join your piazza.
I know. I find myself very lucky. I mean, I threw in my, my 2 bits and I said, can you please come and say hello? And he said yes. So we're really excited about that because he's an amazing man. I've known him for a long time now, and I've I was fortunate enough to see him several times, even as I was, and I'm so glad he's showing up again. He came once in Italy in 2000 or somewhere 2005, something like that. But obviously nowadays you can travel with Zoom anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You can zoom right over.
Yes.
Just as,
yes.
and then with this program, we're lucky to be able to have our RE/MAX associates, and all of our favorite brokers and owners and regionals be able to join us from around the world and discuss how every country is being affected and what they're doing differently in their businesses. And so it's absolutely wonderful. And to be able to share that with all of our RE/MAX family and all of our associates worldwide.
Yes. Yes.
And I think even internationally, I'm sorry, Dario, but I just wanted to commend you, on bringing up the points that I'm an efficiency girl. So I'm always looking for bigger, better ways to run my business. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It doesn't matter where you are globally. I think it's going to force agents to look and work inside their business to better qualify their clients and to create a more transparent, industry. Where people know that, we want to gain their trust and that we're going to tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly, regardless.
Yes, I agree, especially with used homes. People said, can you sell a home without showing the home? I says, yeah, we always did that. We sold new homes all the times based on just on paper, because and the only reason is because people were trusting the builder, were trusting that the house was new, and so they would buy on paper a house. So what's the difference between that and a used home? It's just is the trust, is this trust point, is getting the people to trust the agent, and obviously trust what they see, and the agent be able to show them exactly how things are, and instead of depicting only a beautiful facade and not showing them, the real thing. So that's important. That's very important.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, at the end of the day, we've always had these tools at our fingertips. And just like you said, Dario, I've tried to get my clients to hop on a video call. And now I'm finally finding that people are willing to do that because there's no other option. And I really am looking forward to moving forward outside after this, post-COVID, and being as more efficient than ever. And that's really what it's all about, being efficient,
more productive,
more people, and just help them get to their goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think also the challenge. Sorry.
You go ahead and then I'll go next.
Okay. I think that the challenge is, we're agents, we're in the business, and we are grasping this video thing fairly quickly. We understand how valuable it can be and how much time it can save us in money. The challenge is getting our clients to engage in video. People are always a little, wary of video. I mean, if you call somebody on a video call, they won't answer you. They will not answer you, And I think you have to initiate the thing with a regular call and then give them the time to, prepare themselves perhaps, because they're probably not in their best, it's a matter of getting through the fact that, oh, I don't look good, or I don't look fine, or today I'm not in my best way or shape, right? But we have to get through that, I think, because and get clients who maybe are not working and therefore are not using these tools to get used to instead being able to come on video, because then you can qualify the people even on video. You don't even have to have them come to our office. I mean, we're not going to be able to have many people to our office in the next few months because people will have to book an appointment and be only a few people at a time will be able to come in. So we're going to have to do the qualifying on video. I see a question there also.
Yeah.
They're asking. You wanted to ask me that, Kinsey?
We've got Deborah Carr, who's also a housewife out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Hi, Deb.
Yep. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
Thanks for popping up with us this morning. Do you think the market in Italy will decline now, price-wise, or stay stable?
Well, I think that the market will decline in the short term. Yes, in the short term, we're going to have a decline in number of transactions, obviously, and there will be some, unfortunately, some opportunity. Yes, some opportunities for some buyers because there's a lot of businesses which are suffering heavily, even though the government is trying to help with special loans. But imagine a restaurant. I mean, we're lucky. We're really lucky in our business because we can go back and even recoup the time we lost by making a lot of sales in this fall. But
Definitely,
a restaurant that maybe has I don't know, 100 seating or 200 seating, and all of a sudden they can only host half of that. Will it be worth opening? I don't know. They'll have to reinvent themselves, I'm sure. They'll probably have to resort to catering or takeout or other things. But obviously, if they were making money at full capacity, having half of that or even less than that, because people are going to have to be separated by plastic or other things, I don't know how they'll make it. So there's going to be businesses, unfortunately, and that's one of the businesses that is really being hit. But I can imagine transport, tourism, hotels, people. I know people who do events. We had to cancel our convention. Nobody's doing conventions or concerts, music.
Yeah.
There's so many industries which will not be able to come back very soon, and that creates those people will probably have to either sell their home and they will take the money probably at a lower price. So I see that in the short term, but again, I see then gradually going back to where we were probably within a year and a half.
And what is your government doing to assist the people of Italy?
Well, Italy is, some people, I read an article which I didn't like at all from somebody here that was saying that Italy is a communist country. It isn't. It is not. Italy is more socialistic than say, is like a democratic, to say democratic and republican, it's more democratic on the side of the Democrats for sure. All over Europe, we have very strong social nets. We have social security. The healthcare is universal. So everybody, if you get sick, you get cured. If you're poor and sick, you get cured. There's no two ways about it. Now, perhaps we have a higher we have higher taxes here. We're taxed more than perhaps in the States, and that's how we pay this the system, which obviously is good for the sick and the elderly. So the government is doing what it can to. It's giving money to the people. It's helping the companies, even like us, providing financing at very, very low interest, and they're they're helping as they can, but they are putting a lot of money on the table in order to minimize the impact of this virus on the economy, because otherwise we'll get into a depression. So I think all over the world, governments are trying to do what they can to minimize the impact of this on the economy, because otherwise we really go down the drain. And it is a very different crisis than all the ones we've seen in the past. It wasn't a bubble. It wasn't it's something like a meteor that fell on Earth and created this disaster. So I think that everybody is understanding that, and hopefully we'll be able to get back. Everybody's going to have to get back, because if we're the only ones to get back and the other ones don't, then it's not going to be a good world. It's not going to be a nice world. So
I
I'm
know
hoping that.
Yeah, and I know as we were chit-chatting before we went live, you were discussing what you can and cannot do right now. So I think we might want to circle back on that because as we were talking to Kevin in Malta, they have a $9,000 euro fine for being caught outside of their home if they're not going to just a pharmacy or the grocery store. So let's go ahead
Yeah.
and circle onto that because every country has such different rules and regulations right now. And being that Italy was the hardest hit, I think our viewers would like a little information on your do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Well, it was unfortunate, but we were up there on the charts for a while, number one.
Yeah.
Not something that I want to be number one in, but unfortunately we got hit fairly hard. And our lockdown, there's different degrees of lockdown. And I asked you even before, I said, what kind of lockdown are you in? Because you're from different states, and you made me understand that different states in America have different degrees of lockdown. Okay, we're in a very strict lockdown, and I would call it a Wuhan type of lockdown, like Chinese lockdown, where everything is totally closed. Real estate is not an essential service. Essential services are food and pharmacies and drugs. So we're not allowed to go out from our homes except for going to pharmacy or food store. You have to have a certificate that proves that where you live and how far you're going, because you can't go to the malls are closed. Only the supermarkets are open, obviously. And they catch you. Yes, we don't have a 9,000 fine, but we have a 4,000 euro fine. And there's also if your certificate, because it's an auto certification, if they find out later that was a false auto certification, there's also a jail term for that. So they're being very strict about that, and we're not able to go see anybody, friends or anybody. I mean, we're staying home. My car has this much dust on it right now out there. Yeah, not even golf. We can't even play golf.
Oh, I'm golfing. No. Sorry, I'm golfing.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I have a tennis court here. I have a tennis court, so the only thing that I'm doing is on the weekends I'm playing tennis. Yes.
Well, that's good.
That's the only thing I do.
Right,
So
you get to walk your dog.
I get to walk my dog, yes, but because the tennis is a private, it's shared between a few homes, and so we're it is a private court, so it's okay.
So
That's
Dario,
a question for everybody, though. I mean, what is everybody doing to kind of keep their sanity during this this quarantine time?
Well, I tell you, there's been an increase of domestic violence in not only in Italy, everywhere in the world.
Everywhere.
Okay, I mean, I can imagine couples who were not happy before, well, now they're at each other's throats, and so this is a serious thing, a serious problem. I mean, I'm here with you women, and it is unfortunate that these cases are going on. I mean, it's a big issue before COVID, and now it's even more so. And obviously it's something that is really sad, but it's affecting every country. I was reading in the news, and it's crazy. So people are holding psychologically is probably the most the biggest challenge right now. And people are you've heard Netflix is going up like crazy in the stock market, because obviously people are watching TV, they're on social media. We're lucky we have technology, because if we didn't have technology, it'd be worse. So we are lucky that we have technologies that can kind of help connect, even even if we're distant, to connect with other people. But people are, some people are reacting in a good way. Some people are exercising and doing things to keep themselves busy, and some other people are probably putting their head in the sand and saying, go into a depression. So it's a challenging period right now, and we're hoping, as I say, May 4th to start getting out, but it's not going to be out everybody and hugging and kissing each other. No, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be gradual, and not all activities are going to be open, and it'll be a long time before we get to a real,
Slow and steady.
Do you have any, I would have to say, expectation of when you will be somewhat back to normal?
I'm sorry, I lost you for a second.
Oh,
I
you
had
lost.
trouble with the connection. So if you can repeat the question.
Yeah. Do you have any any expectation, or when do you think, I know you have May 4th of being able to, like, kind of a phase one of Italy very slowly reopening. How long do you think it's going to take Italy to recover? Are you still having more COVID cases daily and more deaths from the virus daily, or have you kind of flattened, as they say in America, is your curve flattening?
I think we will never see this virus going down to zero. Okay, we will have to live with it, and we will live with it at a sustainable level. A sustainable level means that people will be able to, hospitals won't be overcrowded, because that was one of the problems. If hospitals are overcrowded, then some people just die because they can't get the cure. They can't be taken care of. So what's going to happen is, as soon as we're down at there was the RO factor, we're down at 0.7, 0.6, something like that, and that's why they're letting us out, and it'll be around us. We just have to protect ourselves, and especially protect the elderly. The people over 75, they're asking them to stay home until perhaps even December. Okay, wow. So it's unbelievable. I mean, I have my dad who is in the 80s, and he's getting a little depressed there, because he says, I can't get out. I got to be very, very careful. So we're not going to see a really we're not going to be out of this until we have a vaccine. Okay, that'll be the answer to really getting rid of it totally, and not have and have no fears. Okay, until then, we'll always be wary of this thing, and we'll have to take precautions, and we're gonna have to keep social distancing. Absolutely. I mean, that's and wash our hands and all the nice things that we get used to doing all over the world. Okay, this is the first time that everybody's been affected from the same way. The whole world, from New Zealand all the way to to Japan. And it's crazy. But we'll get used to it. We'll go through. I mean, I think we'll just find, as I say, it's going to be a new normal, and by new normal, I mean we're going to feel it like it's normal, and hopefully they'll find something. Science will find something that can help us and really get rid of it forever. So. But until then, we keep going ahead, because we're humans, and humans have always adapted throughout the centuries to any situation they found. So I'm very confident that we'll get through, and we'll find ways, and we'll discover new things. We'll become better people. I think this crisis is also affecting us. Morally, we're valuing. I see some things that are amazing. You've seen it also in the States. Animals taking back their space, or the air is cleaner. There's good things. There's amazing things happening in the world.
I have questions on that.
Yes.
Are there really dolphins in Venice right now? Is the water in Venice really blue?
Yes.
Is that a Photoshop picture, or because I have spent a lot of time in Venice and in Italy, and I have never smiled at their water, and I have never seen anything living in the water in Venice. And is that real?
Well, okay. I don't know if the water in Venice is clean because, people are still living there, and in the canals, all the waters are going to the canal. So I wouldn't swim in it even now. So nothing has changed. People are still there, and they're from their homes actually. But yes, they found there's dolphins that came into the lagoon, because obviously there's no traffic in the lagoons. There's no
Right.
boats, no nothing. So animals are taking back their space into this world, and there's. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. You look a little frozen.
Okay.
Dario's frozen face.
Okay. Well, I hope it's not that funny. Okay. My
No,
frozen
no,
face.
it's a good one. It's a good one. It's not like Tabitha's frozen face yesterday at all.
I don't even know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Tab.
Can you? Okay.
There is a place in Sardinia. Do you know Sardinia? Have you been to
Yes.
Sardinia?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. In Sardinia, there is a little beautiful place called Deer Harbor. Okay, Porto Cervo, Deer Harbor. Deer, like a deer. Okay. And I never thought of it. Nobody ever thought of anything. Why would they call it Deer Harbor? And they just noticed now that there's actual deers in the area who go to that harbor and go and swim there in that little harbor, which is usually always busy with boats and people, and it's a very wealthy place. Okay, and they've come back. So that's why it was called Deer Harbor, maybe 100 years ago. And now nature is reclaiming its territory, which is very nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
your deer swim.
Well, they get in the water. I don't know. Maybe they're looking for fish. I don't know. Yes, deer get in the water. Yes, of course. Yeah, they
Oh
do get in the
my.
water.
So we
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like to end on a positive note. And since the housewives are going global, we want to know, post COVID, when we're able to travel, tell us what
To
you
Italy.
love most about Italy, and why people should buy real estate there.
All right. Well, this year, unfortunately, we're not going to have many tourists coming to Italy, but Italians will stay in Italy instead of going out of Italy. So it's going to compensate a little bit there. But yes, Italy is an amazing country. It's very beautiful. Its beauty is that everything is so dense of everything, of culture, of different people, because we were a country that was conquered so many times. So every country left a little bit of them of their own in Italy, and the climate is amazing. The food is just phenomenal. It's yes, it is. It is. I'm sorry to say that, but we have good food and the wine.
and the
Well, you
food,
Of course, the wine.
and the wine is amazing. I
This
could
is
not.
when
I was
people
gonna
say, how
say,
do you?
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, kids.
Okay.
No, I
I
say,
was gonna say,
people are saying, how do you keep saying it? I said, I had a good cantina.
there would be no way that I could be quarantined in Italy. Because even when you go to the market in Italy with all of the fresh food, I would just pasta and prosciutto and mozzarella, and I would be 500 pounds right now.
Yes. I'm staying away from those things right now because, being confined at home and trying to eat veggies and fruits and keep in shape. But every once in a while, once a week, I let go and eat something like that. Yes.
Deb said, "Girls' trip to Dario's 2022."
All right.
I like
Sounds
it.
good.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
You're all welcome. You're all welcome. You're welcome to come. Yes. To 2022, 2021. What 22?
2021.
What happened?
We should be okay for 2021.
I
We
think
have
so.
we have so
I
many.
hope so.
Yeah,
Let's be optimistic. We'll say 20.
Yes.
We'll say 2021.
yeah, and I'm hoping that we can make it to Vegas in 2021.
Yes.
I don't think we've
Yes.
missed
I
it for
don't
a
know.
long, 6? I've been in 10 or 11 of them consecutively now. I don't want to miss it next year.
I know.
We'll
I
see.
know.
We'll be all right.
Yeah. We have to. Something's gonna. We're gonna find something. I think everybody in the world is trying to find something, and they're all sharing information. So I believe that they must find something, because this is affecting everybody, and it's really affecting our lifestyle, our economy, our freedom. Our freedom is curtailed right now, and that's not nice. That's not part of our. We all live in democratic countries, and the most important thing we have is being able to move freely, and right now we can't, and that's not good. So we'll let's aim for Las Vegas 2021.
Okay.
Perfect.
2021.
And then we'll just, cheers.
Oh, I gotta get a drink here.
Cheers. Oh, it's still morning here.
It's 11 a.m. in Connecticut. Dario,
Yeah.
what time is it there again?
It's only 9
It's,
a.m. in Colorado. I'm waiting.
Wow. It's always a good time to drink now. It's 5 p.m. It's 5
I'm
p.m.
breaking out the mimosas as we speak.
We don't know what time it is.
That's
We don't know what
good.
time it is. No one's judging.
Thank you, Dario, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and your insight, and we can't wait to see you, friend.
Me too.
Absolutely.
And,
I'm
we're
hoping to see
gonna
you soon in person.
You, all of your agents in our prayers, and your country
Thank you.
as you continue to heal through this pandemic, and we'll keep in touch. We always do.
Absolutely.
And we'll be
Absolutely.
circling
Well,
back
thank you for-
around after
Absolutely.
everything's over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Ciao.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh,
Thank you.
Wonderful talk. It's
Mwah.
wonderful seeing you all. All the best.
Cheers.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Ciao. Ciao tutti.
Ciao,
Ciao.
Bellas.
Ciao.
All right.
Okay. We're done.
Okay.